In the tapestry of content I've woven through my videos, the threads have predominantly colored the rich and profound philosophy of Stoicism, exploring its principles, virtues, and timeless relevance. Each video, like a carefully placed stitch, has aimed to unravel the complexities of Stoic thought, guiding viewers through the tranquil corridors of self-mastery, resilience, and inner peace. Stoicism, with its emphasis on personal ethics informed by a systematic understanding of the natural world, has been the cornerstone of our philosophical exploration, inviting a contemplative dialogue on how to lead a meaningful and contented life amidst the inevitable ebb and flow of fortune. Today, however, we venture into uncharted territories, steering away from the familiar shores of Stoicism to embark on a solitary journey with the legendary Miyamoto Musashi, Japan's most renowned swordsman, artist, and philosopher. This video takes a deep dive into Musashi's contemplations on solitude, a theme that transcends the mere absence of company to touch the profound realms of self-discovery and personal enlightenment. Unlike the communal and duty-bound nuances of Stoicism, Musashi's philosophy invites us to embrace the quietude and introspection found in solitude, exploring how this deliberate detachment from the external world can lead to the ultimate mastery of the self and one's craft. Join me as we traverse the path less trodden, uncovering the wisdom nestled in the silent whispers of solitude, according to Miyamoto Musashi. So, if you are new here, please like the video and subscribe. Statistics show that only 15% of my audience is subscribed to the channel, so if this content has helped you in any way, I ask you to subscribe and hit the notification bell. Learning to live without anyone is an underexplored field in our quest for understanding and growth on the path of life. Musashi Miyamoto, the legendary swordsman and samurai philosopher from 15th century Japan, bequeathed us valuable lessons about strength, balance, and mastery. His life is woven with threads of solitude and learning, offering a unique perspective on how to embrace existence without depending on others. From his youth, Musashi immersed himself in solitude to forge his path, rejecting the comfort of social conformity and preferring austerity and isolation. In that solitude, he found a singular strength, a wisdom that is unveiled only when we face the echo of our own thoughts. Musashi's path was not easy. Living without anyone is not a simple task. However, his story reveals that solitude can be a relentless but essential master. He learned that self-discipline and self-sufficiency are fundamental tools for thriving in the absence of constant companionship. Solitude, in this sense, is not a void, but a blank canvas on which to paint one's existence. During his days of seclusion, Musashi not only perfected his swordsmanship, but also cultivated his mind and spirit, making it his ally in his internal battlefield, where he confronted his weaknesses and molded his strength. He learned to face life without depending on others, transforming the absence of companionship into an opportunity for personal growth. His philosophy was based on the idea that true mastery comes from oneself, not just from technical skills, but from the ability to be autonomous in body and spirit. Living without anyone does not imply total isolation, but the ability to find fulfillment within oneself, to be a companion and guide on the journey of life. Musashi did not dismiss the importance of connecting with others, but advocated for not depending emotionally on anyone else. He believed in the strength of human bonds, but without losing one's identity in them. This perspective challenges the conventional notion that happiness and fulfillment can only be found in the constant company of others. The story of Musashi Miyamoto is a fascinating journey towards self-sufficiency and inner wisdom. His legacy invites us to explore solitude not as a final destination, but as a path towards self-awareness and personal mastery. In a world where emotional dependence is the norm, his teachings resonate as a reminder of the importance of being masters of our own destiny. The solitude that Musashi embraced was not an existential void, but a fertile space for growth. His retreat to the mountains did not imply total isolation, but rather a conscious immersion in his own being. This radical approach to self-discovery led him to understand the essence of living without depending on others. The fundamental lesson that Musashi offers us is the ability to find strength and wisdom in solitude instead of seeing it as a weakness or a lack. Modern society often instills the idea that being alone is synonymous with isolation and sadness, but Musashi challenges that notion by turning solitude into fertile ground for self-determination. Musashi's story teaches us to cultivate a deeper relationship with ourselves. In the silence of solitude, we have the opportunity to explore our innermost thoughts, confront our insecurities, and discover our true strengths. Solitude thus becomes a mirror, showing us who we truly are when we are not influenced by external expectations or pressures. Learning to live without anyone does not mean completely renouncing human connections. Musashi understood the importance of social interaction and meaningful relationships. However, he advocated for building these relationships from a place of internal strength, without depending emotionally on others for our own happiness or stability. Musashi's most valuable teaching in this regard is that true freedom lies in being able to find happiness and inner peace regardless of external circumstances. Emotional dependence on others can lead to a sense of emptiness when those connections fade or change. On the other hand, cultivating a solid relationship with oneself provides an unbreakable anchor, a constant source of strength and joy. Musashi found in solitude not only a refuge, but also a training ground for his mind, body, and spirit. His commitment to self-sufficiency and personal mastery is reflected in his daily practice, where every solitary moment became an opportunity to perfect his skills, both in the art of the sword and in the development of his character. For Musashi, solitude was a state of freedom, not confinement. It allowed him to freely explore his own limits, face his fears, and aspire to reach a higher level of excellence in every aspect of his life. The absence of external distractions provided him with unwavering focus, a mental clarity that was reflected in his ability to make bold and precise decisions on the battlefield and beyond. His focus on living without depending on others was also manifested in his work ethic. Musashi understood that to achieve mastery in any field, one must commit deeply, work tirelessly, and be one's own motivator. This mindset of self-sufficiency and persistence is an invaluable lesson in a world that often tends towards quick gratifications and depends on external validation. The solitary warrior Musashi also teaches us about the importance of adaptability. Although he sought solitude for his growth, he did not cling to a single way of thinking or method. He was flexible in his approach, learning from various sources and adapting his skills and strategies according to the situation. Ultimately, Musashi challenges us to find a balance between solitude and human connection. His story reminds us that self-determination and inner strength do not exclude the possibility of having meaningful relationships. Rather than seeking validation or emotional security in others, Musashi urges us to strengthen our relationship with ourselves and then share our integrity with the world around us. Living without anyone, according to Musashi, is not an act of seclusion or emotional detachment, but a journey towards independence, authenticity, and personal mastery. His legacy invites us to embrace solitude as an opportunity for self-reflection, growth, and the realization of our highest potential. The essence of Musashi lies not only in his ability to wield a sword, but in his deep understanding of human nature and his constant pursuit of excellence. He challenged social conventions and the idea that happiness and fulfillment could only be achieved through external validation. His life shows us that learning to live without anyone is not simply being alone physically, but rather a mental state of emotional and spiritual independence, of finding strength in one's own company, of finding joy in inner exploration and self-reflection, rather than constantly seeking the approval of others. Musashi teaches us to seek approval within ourselves. Furthermore, his philosophy transcends the idea that solitude is synonymous with sadness or isolation. Instead, it invites us to see solitude as an opportunity to grow, learn, and discover our true identity. In a world full of noise and distractions, Musashi reminds us of the importance of finding moments of stillness to understand who we really are. The key to his teaching lies in the development of internal strength and integrity. Musashi did not cling to the opinions or expectations of others. He remained true to himself and his constant quest for excellence. His example challenges us to embrace our uniqueness and live our truth regardless of external opinions. Learning to live without depending on others, according to Musashi, is not an act of emotional or social isolation, but a journey towards freedom and self-realization. It is the ability to keep our own inner light shining even in the darkness, to be masters of our destiny, and to find peace within ourselves. In conclusion, Musashi Miyamoto, through his life and teachings, provides us with a map to embrace solitude as an opportunity for growth, strength, and authenticity. His legacy inspires us to find our inner voice, to cultivate the courage to face solitude as an ally on our path to self-determination and fulfillment. The essence of living without depending on others, as Musashi teaches us, is not a rejection of human connection, but a brave quest for emotional and spiritual independence. Letting go is not just a phrase, but a life philosophy that unfolds with the subtlety of a haiku. Musashi, with his sharp sword and even sharper mind, teaches us that clinging to what no longer serves us is like trying to hold water between our fingers. Life flows, and clinging to the past only immerses us in stagnant waters. The Japanese warrior, famous for his combat skills, surprises us by showing that true mastery lies in the ability to let go, release, and move on. In a world that often urges us to treasure, accumulate, and possess, Musashi's wisdom emerges as a breath of fresh air, reminding us that true freedom lies in the lightness of detachment. Musashi invites us to participate in the dance of change, where each step carries the promise of transformation. By clinging to what is no longer meant to stay, we drag the past along like shadows of ourselves. Musashi, with his keen perception, shows us that life is a series of fluid movements, a constantly evolving dance. Imagine Musashi with his katana unsheathed, facing life's challenges. His agility comes not only from physical skill, but from his ability to adapt to changing circumstances. Letting go is not giving up. It's dancing gracefully on the stage of the present, accepting that each moment is unique and fleeting. Musashi, the master of detachment, urges us to shed the expectations that bind our souls. He reminds us that expectations are like invisible shackles, limiting our ability to enjoy the moment. How many times have we felt disappointed because reality did not match our meticulously constructed expectations? Letting go involves freeing ourselves from the self-imposed chains of expectations. Musashi guides us towards emotional freedom by teaching us that, by releasing our expectations, we allow life to surprise us with its unparalleled creativity. True beauty lies in the ability to marvel at the unknown. The wise warrior shows us that letting go is an act of courage, not weakness. Clinging to the known may provide a momentary sense of security, but it also prevents us from growing. Musashi, on his spiritual journey, encourages us to shed the layers that limit us and embrace the possibility of the new. Life, like nature itself, thrives in the constant cycle of growth and decay. Letting go opens up space for new experiences, allowing us to explore the vast landscape of possibilities that lies before us. By freeing ourselves from the chains of the past, we create space for personal flourishing and the expansion of being. Musashi Miyamoto, in his timeless wisdom, propels us to live in the now. Obsessing over the past or worrying about the future prevents us from appreciating the richness of the present. Life, ephemeral and fleeting, slips through our fingers as we cling to what no longer is. The samurai teaches us that letting go is a gift we give ourselves. In the present, we discover the fullness of existence. Happiness, peace, and fulfillment are not found in the past or the future, but in the present moment. Letting go means leaning on unnecessary worries and fully immersing ourselves in the experience of the hour. Musashi Miyamoto, with his sharp sword and penetrating gaze, challenges us to be authentic. Letting go is not just about releasing the external, it's also a journey inward. By freeing ourselves from the masks we wear, we discover the truth of who we are. Authenticity, like the blade of a well-forged sword, shines with a unique light. Musashi encourages us to embrace our imperfections and celebrate our quirks. Letting go means stripping away the need to be perfect and embracing the chaotic beauty of being human. On the path of Musashi Miyamoto, we find a guide to letting go, a philosophy that transcends times and cultures. The samurai, with his sword and wisdom, shows us that true strength lies in the ability to let go, in the bravery of releasing what no longer serves us. Letting go is an art, a dance between the past and the present, between expectations and reality. In the lightness of detachment, we discover the freedom to be truly ourselves. Musashi Miyamoto, despite living in an era marked by war and conflict, bequeaths us valuable lessons for everyday life. Letting go is not only relevant on the battlefield, it's an essential tool in our quest for inner peace and happiness. Imagine life as a garden and each experience as a flower that blooms and eventually fades. Musashi, the wise gardener, teaches us to enjoy the beauty of each flower in its moment, without clinging to the inevitable wilting. Letting go allows the garden of life to bloom with vibrant colors and intoxicating fragrances. In his teachings on letting go, Musashi introduces us to the subtle art of forgetting. The past, with its triumphs and defeats, can become a weight that drags down our souls. The warrior urges us to learn from the lessons of the past, but also to free ourselves from its yoke. Conscious forgetting does not mean denying history but releasing its power over us. Musashi encourages us not to carry resentments, guilt, and regrets. On the blank canvas of the present, we can paint new experiences without the shadows of the past dimming our creativity. In the realm of relationships, Musashi offers us a unique perspective on detachment. We often cling to people as if they were possessions, hoping they will fill the voids in our lives. The samurai reminds us that healthy relationships bloom in mutual freedom, not in possession. Letting go in the context of relationships means allowing others to be who they are without trying to change them according to our desires. Authenticity in human connections arises when each individual can flourish independently and love and friendship become a harmonious dance of free souls. Musashi, the master of martial arts and life philosophy, guides us through the complexities of farewells and new beginnings. Letting go is not always easy, especially when it comes to saying goodbye to people, places, or chapters in our lives. However, the warrior shows us that in every farewell lies the seed of a new beginning. Parting with grace and openness allows us to embrace the future with enthusiasm. Each chapter we close is a blank page, waiting to be written with new experiences and discoveries. On the path of letting go, Musashi hands us the sword of resilience. Life, with its inevitable flow of challenges, can sometimes seem like a fierce storm. Resilience, the samurai teaches us, does not lie in resisting the storm, but in learning to dance in the rain. Detaching from the idea of an obstacle-free path allows us to embrace adversity with courage. Resilience is forged in the crucible of difficulties, and letting go provides us with the flexibility needed to face life's strong winds. On Musashi Miyamoto's journey towards detachment, we discover a treasure trove of wisdom that transcends the boundaries of time. Letting go becomes a mantra that resonates in the hearts of those seeking peace and freedom. The philosophy of the wandering warrior invites us to reflect on our own lives. Where are we holding on too tightly? Where could we free ourselves to allow fuller growth? Musashi challenges us to be brave in our quest for truth and to embrace life's constant dance with grace and detachment. In the mirror of Musashi's teachings, each of us finds the strength to release the chains that limit our existence. Letting go is not just advice. It's an invitation to live fully with the freedom to be truly ourselves. In the echo of Musashi's sword, we find the melody of freedom that resonates in the soul. Now, if any part of this message has been helpful to you, leave us your like and comment, helping the algorithm recommend it to someone who needs it at this time. Don't forget to subscribe so you don't miss new videos. And if you look through the videos we've already uploaded, you're sure to find something to take with you. Have a good day. Think about how you've spent the last 7 days. Think about how you've spent the last 2 months. How have you been living since January, when we gain a new opportunity? Are you fulfilling the promises you made to yourself? Are you already acting and doing everything that needs to be done? Or have there been days when you let laziness, fatigue, or demotivation defeat you? We can be good today, we can be better now, but we prefer to leave it for later. And the result is always the same. We fall into the trap of postponing our progress, of not living our best, whether out of fear of starting or the arrogance of believing we have all the time in the world at our disposal. There is no way to change if we keep acting the same. Therefore, this video today is a challenge for your next 10 days. If you're still not living everything you've planned for yourself, now is the time to change and start acting differently. Choose one of the 6 points below and decide to practice them in your next 10 days. No matter the situation you're facing, whether you're in the rush and thriving a lot, or with difficulties and facing heavier situations, it's always possible to improve. Therefore, affirm this commitment to yourself, and at the end of this video, comment on which point you will put into practice in your life. So if you are new here, please like the video and subscribe. Statistics show that only 15% of my audience is subscribed to the channel, so if this content has helped you in any way, I ask you to subscribe and hit the notification bell. 1. Do not complain. This challenge can truly transform your life. Spend 10 days straight without complaining, criticizing, or speaking ill of anyone. If you become more aware of your words and make an effort to change them, you will modify your way of thinking and begin to recreate your story. Think about how many times you complain during the day. It can be about something small, like the difficulty of finding a parking spot, your neighbor, the price of things in the market, a triggered rhinitis, or a headache. Then you decide to make an effort to stop talking about it. Believe it, the situation will start to change. To complain is to speak of things you do not want in your life, instead of speaking of what you want. When we complain, we use words to focus on what we do not want. It is to speak only about what is wrong. Notice that you start by complaining about something small and it increases. In a short time, you only complain because everything we focus our attention on expands. We are each creating our own life, all the time. The trick is to take the reins and lead the horse in the direction we want to go, instead of going where we do not want to. This idea is not new. Marcus Aurelius, in Meditations, spoke about this wisdom, writing that our life is dyed by the color of our thoughts. You are creating your own life at every moment through your thoughts. Therefore, what comes out of your mouth is so important. Sometimes we do not realize how much our thoughts are more destructive than constructive. But our words convey that. It is vital to control our mind if we want to progress and live well. Therefore, a practical way for you to meet this challenge is monitoring. The idea is quite simple. You need to create a monitoring system for complaints, criticisms, and gossip. You first choose an object, such as wearing a ring, a band, a wristwatch, a hair elastic, or a coin in your pocket. It is important that you change the position of the object every time you catch yourself complaining, speaking ill of others, or criticizing. Change your band from finger, move your watch, or change the elastic from wrist to wrist. It is precisely the act of changing the position of the object that plants the seeds in the back of your mind, making it aware of your behavior. On the first day, you start to pay attention to what you say. If you complain a lot, or how long it has been since the last time you complained, made a criticism, or spoke of someone. It is easy to notice when others complain, but it is difficult to notice when we ourselves complain. When you complain, you employ the incredible power of your mind to look for things you do not want and end up attracting more of them. Then you start to complain about these new problems and attract more of what you do not want, getting stuck in a vicious cycle, a self-fulfilling prophecy of complaint. More problems, complaint, more problems, complaint, in a cycle that never ends. If you do not like something, change it. If you cannot change it, change your attitude. Stop complaining. The challenge is simple and has a tremendous power to change your stance in life. So, choose. Remain inert, walking in circles around your problem, or take action and commit to not complaining, criticizing, or speaking ill of others for the next few days. By controlling our words, eliminating complaints, we give an objective to our life and attract what we desire. 2. Voluntary detachment. This challenge consists of living for 10 days, depriving yourself of something or something you could not live without. The greatest freedom you can have is your self-control, and if you wish to improve your self-control, you need to train your ability to deal with discomfort. You might think, life is already so difficult, why deprive myself of something? This might all sound like a battle against pleasure and satisfaction, but it is actually training for you to become a person capable of doing what others fear and capable of resisting what others cannot. Start expanding your comfort zone, making you more comfortable in uncomfortable situations and improving your self-discipline, resilience, and confidence. When you condition yourself to do the difficult things, you also condition yourself to say no to the things that are hard to refuse. We can think of sugar, soda, social media, but we can also apply this to feelings and emotions, addictions, or some bad habits. For example, think about the insecurity you feel, which often prevents you from acting and making decisions. Imagine this feeling as a 2-kilogram sandbag on your shoulders. For the next 10 days, every time you think or act through that insecurity, take the sandbag off your shoulders. In a way, we also cling to feelings and destructive habits, so we will feel a huge discomfort to fulfill these 10 days. Training our self-control is also training our mastery over our emotions and feelings. On this journey, we discover our strength, and that we often judge ourselves to be smaller than our vices, even when we have the power and mental capacity to be greater than them. Practice voluntary detachment. Choose a feeling, an addiction, a terrible habit for the next 10 days, recognizing that your life and happiness do not depend on them. Joy comes from your choices, from your deliberately selected actions. Do this for yourself. Only then can you become the person you want to be. 3. Eliminate negative thoughts. What would your car be like if every morning before leaving the house you took 2 garbage bags and threw them in the back seat? In a short time, the smell would be unbearable, and you would hardly be able to drive it. Negative and unpleasant thoughts in your mind affect you in the same way. They cause unnecessary wear, create frustrations, feelings of inferiority, and destroy your self-confidence. Our third challenge is to interrupt this mental trash that you deposit in your mind. You would never do that with your car, or never put a garbage bag inside your backpack or purse. So why keep doing this with your mind? You realize that we learn more about the value of material things than we learn about the value of our mind. But it is possible to learn about this value. We have to combat our negative thoughts before they become mental monsters. For example, in marriage, when we face difficulties or situations that do not happen as we expect, instead of solving the problem by talking, we keep chewing over these thoughts repeatedly in our mind. He does not care about me anymore, or she lost interest in me. This becomes a big obstacle for the relationship. We can transform almost all the unpleasant experiences of our lives into mental monsters. A business that failed, a romance that ended, a wrong investment, a job interview that you did not hear back from, the treatment you received as a child. Any negative thought that you fertilize, reviving these memories daily, can turn into a real mental monster, destroying your confidence and paving the way for self-destruction. In the next 10 days, our challenge is to interrupt this cycle of negative thoughts. First, we need to stop feeding our minds with mental trash, avoiding constantly reliving unpleasant experiences. Secondly, we should direct our memory positively, focusing on events and thoughts that strengthen and inspire us. By eliminating negative thoughts, we make room for a lighter and more constructive mindset that allows us to face life's challenges with more serenity and confidence. And third, we must silence our internal critic. Taking a mistake made yesterday or many years ago and thinking about it for hours and days, hammering bad things in your head, such as, "You were stupid, you were dumb, and you did not think right, and it turned out as it did." This only contributes to feeding the habit of negative thoughts. When this critic appears, advocate in your favor. Bring to your memory moments when you were smart, when you planned and acted prudently. No one is 100% wrong. No one is just darkness. But when we only think bad things about ourselves, we tend to erase or forget the moments we also got right. When we seek self-knowledge, we start to see ourselves better, to recognize our flaws and seek to improve them, and not punish ourselves with self-destruction and self-criticism. Precisely because Stoicism teaches us that it is possible to change our way of seeing life and reshape our values, including the importance we give to ourselves. You have now reached the halfway mark of the video. I congratulate you for trying to become a better version of yourself. And I also humbly ask you to leave a comment, as it helps my channel immensely. If you do not know what to comment, just write mind over body so I know you reached this far. And don't forget to subscribe for more content like this. Also, I've linked some books on Stoicism that helped me become the man I am today and will also help you achieve a Stoic mindset. 4. Practice of equanimity. One of the central truths of Stoicism is that we have the power to choose the meaning we attribute to external events. And, if you watch the videos on this channel, you know this. So, why do we allow other people or external situations to control our emotions? Almost every day we let others upset us, torment our lives, or deeply irritate us. It's time to take back control. This challenge is about practicing emotional balance. For 10 days, control how you react to the situations that happen to you. To do this, we need to start recognizing our impulses, reactions, and judgments, and then develop the ability to distance ourselves from them instead of being carried away. For example, if you're stuck in traffic, instead of immediately getting irritated, observe the situation. The traffic is beyond your control. How you react to it is the only thing you can control. Acting impulsively, getting stressed, or getting angry with the driver in front of you won't make the traffic go away. On the contrary, it could worsen the situation. But when you choose to remain calm, you are actually strengthening your ability to react rationally. If someone at your work or in your home always disagrees with what you say or do, just to provoke you, it's important to recognize this. This person probably wants to bring you down, to diminish you. If you get upset or let it affect you, you're giving them that power. Our mind is flexible, and we can train it not to be manipulated like puppets. In the next 10 days before reacting, you will train yourself to stop and observe the situation, and then choose your reaction. By practicing equanimity, we can deal with daily challenges more calmly and with emotional balance, promoting a sense of internal peace that does not depend on external circumstances. 5. Explicit gratitude. Upon waking in the morning, think of the precious privilege of being alive, to breathe, to think, to enjoy, to love. Marcus Aurelius. When we feel dissatisfied or during tough times, we usually forget to recognize and appreciate what we already have, which is often what we've dreamed of and asked to experience in our lives. This challenge focuses on practicing true gratitude. Acknowledge how generous life has been to you. Marcus Aurelius wrote in Meditations, "Be thankful for everything you have." Although the word gratitude is widely used, we've become accustomed to seeing it in a more superficial way. This challenge is for you to express true gratitude, not for what you will achieve, but for what you already have. We are constantly influenced to want more, taught to desire more, to seek more experiences, things, and products. This perpetual search for external satisfaction and contentment has led many people to a constant feeling of emptiness and dissatisfaction. Stoicism teaches us a contrary thought: to learn to appreciate what we already have in our lives instead of focusing on what's missing. Start with the basics, being thankful for being alive, for the privilege of having woken up today. Truly connect with this feeling. Start thinking about your life and seek this feeling within you. Can you feel grateful for the small things, like when the coffee is good or when someone is kind to you? Are you able to appreciate something someone has done for you? Can you reflect on which things or people you would miss if they were gone and be thankful for them being in your life? Can you feel grateful for your physical and mental ability to work and be an independent person? Can you feel grateful for being here right now, in this video that's prompting you to change some attitudes to live a year of moral and mental progress? You don't need to try to convince anyone or pretend to be grateful, speaking insincerely. But you can commit to genuinely experiencing this feeling from the bottom of your heart in the next 10 days. In the following days, upon waking up, spend 5 minutes thinking about what you are grateful for and say it out loud to yourself. This statement, as simple as it may be, has the power to reorient your attention to the good things you already have in your life, and the consequences of this change are better feelings and more positive experiences. This is just one way to express your gratitude. We are all different, so you will know what works best for you. Gratitude can mean very different things to different people in different contexts. It can be a character trait, a feeling, a virtue, or a behavior. By choosing this challenge, you adopt the Stoic mindset of finding internal satisfaction, which can bring a lasting sense of contentment and happiness, regardless of what's happening around you. 6. Decisive action. Our last challenge is to do what needs to be done. How? By taking action. Start by analyzing the events in your life more rationally and focus only on what you can control. Perhaps you can't control where you live at the moment, as that depends on some external factors. But you can control whether your house is organized and clean, or if everything is messy and dirty. You might not have the best clothes or shoes, yet your posture, education, and personal presentation are entirely up to you. You surely can't control the illness of someone close, but you can control your own reaction and provide significant support to help that person face the situation with hope and strength. You may have started your own business without the best equipment or the most privileged location in your town. However, the quality of the service and product you offer your customers is within your control. Maybe you don't have the best food or are in the most modern kitchen in the world, but you can decide whether you make your meal carelessly or in the best way possible. You might not have the best job at the moment, but your professional demeanor, whether you work with commitment or slack off most of the time, is under your control. In any situation, context, or scenario, there's a rational way to analyze and take decisive action, focusing precisely on what we can control. And when we do this, adversity no longer paralyzes us. Decisive action is not an easy challenge, even for 10 days, because this challenge forces us to act. Not tomorrow, not later, but to start now, to do our best with what we have within our daily actions. When we adopt the standard of decisive action for our lives, we can handle challenges more effectively without being overwhelmed by uncertainty, laziness, discouragement, or our own impulses. It's about building your inner citadel, protecting your values so they can guide you to decisive actions regardless of what you're facing. In life, there will always be people who build pyramids and people who destroy them. People who build their own values and people who destroy their own values. We can choose which group we want to be in. The choice is always ours. So, commit to yourself and comment on which point you will put into practice from now on, and see what changes have occurred in your life in the coming days. Thank you for watching. Now, if any part of this message has been helpful to you, leave us your like and comment, helping the algorithm recommend it to someone who needs it at this time. Don't forget to subscribe so you don't miss new videos. And if you look through the videos we've already uploaded, you're sure to find something to take with you. Have a good day.